Okay, it looks like we're live. Hello, and welcome to the stream. We are going to pick up where we left off and continue with some major playthroughs today. Um, I'm not sure I'm doing these exactly in order. I didn't look up to see which of these is the oldest course. I'm kind of guessing. Um, but again, we only have 6 courses right now that I haven't done, so it's slightly less critical right now for me to do all of them in order. Let's go look the thread up here and see if he has any info or any like conditions, things like that I should be playing, or anything I should keep in mind. Kenakena. Lots of backstory, kind of set in New Zealand. Kind of supposed to be an open course. More backstory. Alright, it looks like it's all just backstory. Oh, here it is. I recommend playing in high or very high winds, either of the northeast or southwest variety. Alright, well, we'll do high and northeast. Why not? Alright. Alright. Yep, and we'll give this a go. Since this is set up to be a major course, I suppose, sorry, since set up to be an open course, I suppose we're going to get a lot of kind of more linksy golf, as we see here. There's nothing wrong with this hole, but just like with the planting style being very kind of monotonous, like there being no bunkers, or again, I don't mind no bunkers. It's just like this hole looks very plain at first glance. There's when you go very simple, you need to, I think like the land has to do a lot of the talking, or that kind of stuff. The golf itself, and it's a perfectly serviceable, if not like very visually exciting opener. And it is the first hole, but this doesn't feel like it's all right. All right, this is a little more like it in terms of difficulty. Like the first hole, like you generally are gonna give somebody kind of like a soft handshake. So like that'll you know the first hole doesn't need to be terribly difficult, but if the all 18 holes are relatively easy, then this isn't going to work great for a major contest. Maddie, hello. Well, yes, my face is doing all of the talking. Hi, Ben. Well, I think the bunkering is pretty nice. Maybe the Yeah, I think like maybe the pot bunkers are a touch on the large side, but like very very minor nitpick. The paths look nice. Like again, like the general vibe of this is pretty good, but again, I'd love to see maybe a little bit more involved planting style. Like sprinkle some bushes and stuff in there. You can kind of bury them down so they're not like too big and in the way, but like just like the vast oceans of the same multi-planted two grasses is, like it looks fine. It's just not very, it's not very interesting. And on a course that, is by definition like incredibly open, um, it's it makes it look kind of empty and unfinished. Yeah, exactly. And we have some stuff there. A big bush tree thing. Well, the links vibes are here. I think it does a fairly good job at that. But I am also like I'm not quite seeing the major contest difficulty yet. Like this so far this feels like a kinetic course. Whoops. Like my putting is terrible. I have not warmed up before this round. You liked this one, good amount of fun shots. Yeah, I think like again, so far it's um like the theming's on point. It feels like a links course, which like a lot of people who that's a terrible shot. All right, we're gonna get away with it. A lot of people who go for the kind of links feel don't necessarily pull it off particularly well, and I think this one does. But but I'm also not sure it's remotely hard enough. Like this green is very I guess there's a little bit more back to front. I think I guess it's kind of a steady slope, but I feel like you're adding difficulty to this hole purely by just putting the pin on the most severe sloped part of the green, which I'm uh good point, you guys. With kinetic being harder than major or plat sometimes. But I wouldn't peg this as a plat course per se. Maybe like elite at most. But anyway, like the putting pins on like on a relatively benign green and then just picking the highest sloped part of it, just there's nothing I think it's kind of to be avoided. Like if your green contours are yeah, I agree, Ben, that hole does have a little bit of teeth to it. Like there's little flashes of difficulty, but like I don't think it's you know like it is narrow, but like none of the shots have been like that difficult so far. I like this one visually. This one looks nice off the tee. The lighting helps. The bunkers are kind of framed nicely. Ooh, this might get interesting. Again, and the pots are well placed. Like into the wind. That's where your drive are gonna end up. Ooh, got a little spicy with that one. Oh, and then we're just gonna run way away from that hole. I keep getting sidetracked to the point I was trying to make. I think if your green is so benign that in order to make it hard, you have to pick the single biggest piece of slope on the green to make it for your pin to make it challenging. It's a little gimmicky, and generally it's a sign that you need to rework that green or that hole. All right, I think we can rip a little. Actually, I might. It's downwind. I can just hit 5 wood. Again, I like these shots, but if I'm like, oh, never mind. I was gonna say if there's no threat to me ripping a 5 wood into this green in two, then like again, might not be hard enough. But I seem to have found some trouble. I don't think this misses the difficulty mark by more than really any of the other courses in this contest. Like, there's really not a lot so far that I feel like it could even go on plat, to be honest. Let alone host a major, where you want to make it like one of the harder courses plat plays all year. Actually, do I want a 6? Yeah. I don't want to miss long on that. Oh, and I still miss long. Okay. Wind's not as severe as I thought it was. This course at least could have the winds cranked. Yes, but I guess I didn't totally crank them. I'm at high instead of very high, but even with those winds, I'm not finding this course overly difficult. Like, it's not easy. This isn't a CC course or anything for sure, but it's also not like, you know, I don't feel stressed or like frustrated while playing it, which is like honestly probably where it should be for me. Very high was surprisingly playable for you. Yeah, I imagine if you're designing the course for those wins, you're especially if when you're giving people preferred directions, then you've certainly play tested it and made sure that hey, like at least you're never gonna get stuck in a position where it's like, well, I can't make this force carry or things like that. Are those palm trees? Yeah, I think so. This one, it's supposed to be set in New Zealand, so it's like a New Zealand links course is the theme of this one. I'm gonna say I like this little section that you built here. It's kind of a cool spot. A little fenced in area. I'm assuming all that's OB. Yes, which would make sense. Yeah, don't worry, Maddie. Like the theming does make sense on this course. Like I'd love to see maybe a little bit more, um, like well, kind of anything planting wise. Like it's missing a lot visually for me. It's not bad. It's just kind of you're in a design or when you're in a design contest with like kind of a lot of the community's top designers, like they're gonna bring their A game, and like something really simple isn't really gonna keep up unless it's like again, um, or I guess like because Petty's is kind of simple, but it's varied and it works visually. Where this is just kind of empty visually. But again, I love the general kind of land movement on the plot. The golf has been quite good so far. Like I haven't really talked that much about the golf because the golf's been generally fine, other than like one pin where it's just like, yeah, I don't see this one. Um, like it is on the narrow side, but again, it's for a major, so like I understand why that's a decision that you went with. But if anything, like there's not a ton of hazards to find, and like there's no big numbers lurking anywhere on this course. And I think like outside of the wind, this course just doesn't. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Maddie. Like I've definitely enjoyed my round, but yeah, it's not one that I'm finding incredibly memorable. That being said, it's very hard to do like kind of like very simplistic links golf and make it memorable. So like like I recognize that that is a thing that's very hard to pull off. Like I do really like the course. Like this absolutely deserves a spot on tour, and I think it'll get one. It's probably not going to be on plat. Like I think this would be perfect for kinetic if we can talk Mammoth into that. All right, this all's interesting. Maybe elite. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, elite. I think yeah, if you keep the wins dialed, I think elite would work perfectly for this. I like the aiming marker. Let me go take a closer look at it. Is that a face on it? Or is that one of the Halloween things? Was that out when this came out? What's the face thing from? I don't remember. I don't recall seeing a face thing. I'm sure one of you guys in chat can tell me where that uh, object is from. Because because I think this one was published in early October, so I don't think those assets or the new assets were out yet. Oh, sorry, I gotta go send a text quickly. Alright, sorry about that. Perfect. We're back. Well, this is an interesting little perched green. Like, a lot of these shots are framed quite well. So, like, visually it works in that sense. It's just, again, it just needs a little bit more something going on. Like, not that you need more bunkers or anything. Like, I think the kind of minimalism works fine on this course. But it also, like, if you're not going to do anything crazy with planting, that also does help with visuals a little bit. Of, like, just having something going on to frame a hole, and, or, you know, like, something to look at that breaks up just kind of an ocean of the exact same thing. I know, right? It's growth. Claiming something doesn't need more bunkers. It's just a way that you can add some visual interest to it. And to be fair, like, I think, you know, it well done pop bunkers are, you know, kind of penal, and this course doesn't have a lot of that, so it probably isn't a terrible idea for, like, this course in major. God, that's some bad putting. But even, like, I'm playing terrible and I'm 3 under. Ooh, is this OB? Alright. I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, at least, like, we do have one that is difficult enough, but, like, doing kind of a road hole over the range where your landing area is narrow and the entire range is OB, despite, like, it being incredibly easy to play from there in theory. Like, I get, you know, I get why you would make a range OB like that, but, like, I am no less in danger, like, you know, 8 feet to the left of the marker than I am 8 feet to the right of it. I don't dislike it, but it is maybe a little awkward. Is Hoylake the one where Jordan Spieth played from the range to win the Open? Am I getting that one correct? Hey Alan, how's it going? All right. Well, that was a lovely course. I definitely enjoyed it. Again, didn't really have like, just a couple little nitpicks in terms of golf. The golf's quite good. Again, maybe a little empty. I think was probably kind of a common theme. And then, like, again, just difficulty. I think it's. I mean, to be fair, I think maybe 1 or 2 courses in the 8 or so that I've played so far are even close to plat difficulty. So you are definitely not alone in kind of coming up short in terms of difficulty. Like, there's some challenge to it, but I think it's kind of a kinetic course probably. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and do at least one more, but we'll cut this video here. So if you're in stream, I'll be back in just a minute. And if you're watching this on playback later, then we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, have a good one.